I want to start this video with something personal that I've never shared before. If you looked at my life on paper, you'd probably say that I'm financially healthy. But the truth is, I spend a lot of time worrying that I'm falling behind and should be doing more, which sounds ridiculous, but I'd venture to guess that you may have felt the same way at some point yourself. And I don't know about you, but I didn't want to feel that way anymore. So I spent months digging into the cause of that feeling, and what it's ultimately taught me is that you are way richer than you think, and I can prove it to you and hopefully make you feel a lot better about where you're at financially. All right, nearly 10 months of research went into this video, but the structure that we'll use to present it comes from Damien over at Damien Talks Money, so I'll link to his original video down in the description because it is fantastic. But he essentially breaks this feeling into 4 main categories, which is how much you earn, keep, spend, and owe. And the easiest to feel bad about or compare to others is how much you earn, especially in a world with idiot influencers telling you that if you don't have a Lambo in your 20s, then you're broke. I'm not trying to start any YouTube drama here, but that dude is way out of touch. Moronic statements like that aside, if you live in the United States or most first world countries, you are arguably one of the richest people on the planet. But that's not a helpful statement because obviously living in those countries is much more expensive. So looking at the United States specifically, the median individual income is about $54,000 a year as of 2023. Again, though, it's not as simple as comparing your income to that number and saying, I'm doing great, or I'm falling behind. Different areas pay more and cost more to live in, and earning is only one small piece of the equation, as you'll see in a second. So when it comes to your income, don't compare it to your cousin living in California or your best friend who's on a completely different career path. And definitely don't compare it to the nonsense you see online of people telling you that you should be earning 6 figures a month, and to unlock the secret, all you have to do is make 10 small payments of $500 to enroll in their course. Comparison is inevitable, and I am certainly guilty of it myself. But like I said, earning is only one small piece of the equation, which brings us to the second section, how much do you keep, which is way more important than how much you earn. Despite being one of the wealthiest countries on the planet, over 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and 42% have less than $1,000 in savings. And this doesn't just apply to low earners, as you might think. 45% of individuals making $100,000 per year or more say that they are living paycheck to paycheck, and that percentage still stands at 28% for individuals making $200,000 a year or more, according to a recent payment.com survey, which proves that earning more money isn't necessarily the answer to your financial worries, and you may already have a lot more control over your financial situation than you initially thought. Obviously, the amount you are keeping essentially means your savings, and usually a recommended savings rate would be 15 to 25% depending on your age. But even that might feel impossible to some of us. Nothing against Graham Stephan, but when you're making $4 million a year and are incredibly frugal like he is, then it's pretty easy to save 99% of your income. But chances are that's not realistic for you or me, and that's okay. But of course, to arrive at your savings rate, we have to talk about the next section, which is where a majority of people turn down the wrong path financially. And that would be how much you spend. It goes without saying that some spending is necessary. Obviously, we need food, water, and shelter, and unfortunately, those things have become much more expensive in recent years, leaving less room on the more fun side of spending. Take this chart with a grain of salt depending on where you live, but this chart shows you the average monthly spending in different major categories for US households, with the typical American household spending a total of $5,100 per month as of 2023 data, which is a pretty scary statistic considering the median monthly income is just $5,600 per month. But why am I showing you all of this boring data, and what does that have to do with the financial stress that you and I are feeling? Well, all of this actually builds to what is definitely the core problem for most people, and that is how much do you owe, or should I say, how much we owe. I'm talking about debt, and while this is definitely one of the most argued topics in the personal finance world, outside of real estate and stuff like that, most people would agree that a 24% interest rate on a credit card is bad. Many types of consumer debts are currently at all-time highs, meaning we are borrowing more than ever, some of which is out of necessity just to keep the lights on and put food on the table, but we live in the land of keeping up with the Joneses, meaning a lot of this consumer debt is for that new car so you could impress the neighbors that you don't actually like, or go on that extravagant vacation that was definitely out of the budget, but at least it looked good on Instagram. We have a scary level of comfort with debt, and in so many ways, it has been completely normalized in our society. And while we could sit here for hours and debate what is considered good or bad debt, the simple fact is, if you don't have consumer debt in the United States, you are in the minority and are well above average financially, at least on that front. The average US household owes more than $165,000, according to a recent NerdWallet study, including tens of thousands of dollars in auto loans, credit cards, and of course, our new favorite party trick, student debt. So by those metrics, if you have enough money to consistently put food on the table and are really able to save anything, then you are doing great financially. But that probably doesn't make you feel a whole lot better. It certainly didn't make me feel any better. So why is that? Well, it really comes back to our old friend, comparison. And of course, it's easy to say that you shouldn't compare yourself to others, or that comparison is the thief of joy, and sure, that is good advice, but it's easier said than done when every screen and social media platform we turn to is plastered with multi-millionaire 20-year-olds telling you that if you don't have a Lamborghini, you're broke. But at the core of this comparison problem is really just our human desire to compete. What was once our primal instinct to find the best partner or gather the most food has become who can earn the most and live the best lifestyle, or at least appear that way online. And not only that, but the number of people who we are now competing against is honestly limitless. Not that long ago, you could stay within your social circle, work really hard, and feel like you were doing really well for yourself. But now there is always someone who is richer, younger, better looking, or fill in the blank. Okay, nothing I'm saying here is exactly groundbreaking by any means, but I'm sure it applies to you just as it applies to me. So what can we all do about it to specifically feel better about our financial situations? Because let's be honest, I'm not your guy for exercise motivation. In all seriousness, the biggest thing I've done in the past few months that has helped me a ton is shifting my focus to a specific and intrinsic motivator. What I mean by that is, instead of waking up in the morning and sprinting on the hamster wheel all day just to scroll on your phone at night and see someone who is richer, hotter, and happier, make your goal about you. From a financial perspective, maybe your goal is to retire early or pay off your home early. Maybe it's to retire your parents with dignity. Or maybe eventually you want to provide for everyone in your immediate circle. Even those might feel like lofty goals, but they're specific and they're about you and your life, and most importantly, they are things that you can control. Of course, you want to focus on adding value so that you can maximize your income, and keep an eye on your spending so that you can save more, and limiting your exposure to consumer debt as much as possible. And that will certainly set you on the right path, but I think the more important discussion here is, where is that path going to? Because if it's just an endless tunnel into the abyss of comparison and fake people online, then good luck finding happiness and peace with your finances no matter how hard you work. And that applies to your finances and really anything else in your life. Make the choice today to walk down a path that is measurable and achievable towards something that matters to you, and really, no matter how you get there or how long it takes, you will be much happier. Last year, many of you know that my wife and I went on a 3-month honeymoon and bought this house within a few short months. But despite those amazing blessings in my life, I was more stressed about money than I have ever been before, and it absolutely robbed me of the joy that I should have been feeling in those moments. But instead of trying to run faster on the hamster wheel or worry about things that were completely out of my control, I decided to just shift my focus and walk down a different path where I could actually enjoy the blessings that we had worked so hard for, where I could lay my head on my pillow each night and actually sleep and feel peace. And no, I don't have a Lamborghini, and I won't be getting one anytime soon, but I guarantee that I am a lot happier than the person who has a Lamborghini but feels like a total loser next to the person with a Bugatti. I'd love to know what your specific financial goal is down in the comment section, and as always, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.